Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to dive into the hidden rules of your own mind. We'll unpack 10 psychological truths that, well, they pretty much explain why we are the way we are. And trust me, this knowledge might just change how you see yourself.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever just stopped and thought, why do I feel the way I do? You know, why do some memories stick around forever while others just, poof, they're gone? Well, that little spark of curiosity, that's exactly where we're headed today.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1, your brain's secret rules. Look, we have to start here, because before we can even begin to understand our actions, we've got to get a handle on the powerful, kind of invisible rules that are running the whole show behind the scenes.
Okay, first up, how we remember things. Now, we all kind of think our memory works like a video camera, right? Just recording all the facts and details. But it doesn't, not really. Our brain prioritizes something else entirely, feelings. Think about it. You're way more likely to remember the crushing embarrassment or the pure joy of a moment than the exact words someone said. It's that emotional echo, that's what sticks around.
So if our brains are so tuned into emotions, it totally makes sense they'd have a way to protect us from the really painful ones, right? And they do. You can think of it like a pain shield. It's this automatic defense system that can actually make you forget a really bad event or just numb your feelings completely. All of this is happening without you even knowing it, just to keep you safe from psychological damage. It's an incredible survival tool when you think about it.
And this is where it gets really wild. This research shows just how physically real our emotions are. Like when you feel lonely, it isn't just a sad thought in your head. No way. Brain scans show that loneliness lights up the exact same parts of the brain as physical pain. So when someone says they're hurt by loneliness, their brain is literally processing it like an actual physical injury.
Okay, so this brings us to one of the most powerful and maybe overlooked forces in our lives. That internal monologue. Yeah, the voice in your head, the one that's processing my words right now. It's not just background noise, you know? Over time, that voice is actively building the reality you live in.
And what that voice says, man, it matters so much. If it's constantly telling you you're not good enough, guess what? Your brain eventually just starts to accept that as a fact. But here's the good news. The reverse is also true. If you consistently practice positive self-talk, even when it feels kind of fake at first, you are quietly and consistently building a real solid foundation of confidence.
Which brings us perfectly into part 2, the social survival guide. Because this is where the rubber meets the road, right? This is where all those internal rules we just talked about get tested and shaped when we have to deal with, well, other people.
Okay, tell me if this sounds familiar. You go to a party, maybe you even have fun, but you get home and you are just completely drained, wiped out. Ever wonder why? It's because performing, not being your 100% authentic self, takes up a ton of mental and emotional energy.
And sometimes that social performance isn't just for a party. It can become a full-time survival mechanism. We see a smile and we automatically think happiness. But for a lot of people, that smile is actually a mask. It's a way to hide some really deep sadness or pain. It's a sobering thought, but it often means the person who seems to laugh the loudest might actually be the one who's hurting the most.
You know, our pasts cast these incredibly long shadows, especially over our social lives. So let's think about this for a second. If someone goes through some serious rejection or neglect as a kid,
Well, that experience can directly lead to this intense, deep-seated fear of abandonment as an adult. And how does that show up? Often, it's this super tough, fiercely independent exterior. It's really just a defense mechanism, right? It's armor designed to keep people from getting close enough to hurt them, or to see how vulnerable they really are.
And that fear of being left behind can lead you right into what you might call the acceptance trap. It's this crazy paradox where the harder you try to make people like you, to be what you think they want you to be, the more you lose your own sense of self. And in the end, chasing all that approval just leaves you feeling, well, empty.
So how do we get out of these traps? That's the big question, isn't it? And it leads us right into our final section, part 3, understanding your true worth. And here, we're going to connect all these psychological ideas to one of the biggest challenges we all face in modern life.
I'm talking about the social media cycle. I mean, it seems harmless enough, right? You're just scrolling through your feed, but you're seeing these perfectly curated highlight reels of everyone else's life. And then it happens. Without you even noticing, you start to compare. And that comparison, it's a total thief of joy. It's what leads to that nagging, awful feeling that your life just isn't enough.
And the fallout from feeling not enough is, well, it's devastating. It's exactly like this quote says. When we start to love ourselves less, our standards just plummet. We start accepting treatment or staying in situations or relationships that, if we're being honest, we know deep down we shouldn't.
Because underneath it all, it comes down to this one belief that fuels the whole cycle. It's that quiet, toxic little voice that whispers, "I'm not good enough to deserve better." And once that thought takes root, man, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, trapping you in places you just can't seem to break free from.
But listen, here's the most important part of this whole thing. Learning about all these patterns, it's not meant to be a downer. It's the exact opposite, actually. This knowledge is a tool. It's like a flashlight that helps you see the invisible strings that might be pulling at your behaviors and feelings. It's all about one thing: understanding ourselves better.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. After hearing all this, after exploring some of these hidden rules of your own mind, what's one thing you understand a little bit better about yourself today? Something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me.